once you've created your autoresponder, I want to show you what mine looks like. And so when you create your automation, your autoresponder should be here, just like mine is.
This video is brought to you by EpiPies Academy.
And here I have gives you some immediate statistics, gives me a 23% open rate, let's say round up to 24% open rate, a certain percent click-through rate, that. And then we can go inside of it and see what it's like. So you see my first email has a really high open rate, 40%. And then what you can do is, you see I have about how many? 10 emails in my automation. And you can always add email. You see, you can always add your email. And what you can also do is take a look. Some emails have over 20% open rate, and some emails have, at the end have a 16 or 14. This is really bad. So what you can do over time is the ones that have a low open rate, you have to change them and make sure that people stay engaged. In my case, some people flake off and become less engaged. It's common, actually. It's actually common. I mean, you're not gonna increase engagement. You're gonna usually increase engagement tapers off a little bit, but that's fine. And what we can do is we can say edit, and we can take a look at how these look like. Now, how it's written is entirely up to you, because it depends on what you're selling and promoting. One trick I will give you is that you have to make sure that whatever email provider you're sending from, like a Gmail or whatever, or your own, you can get that email cannot get flagged as a spam. So one trick that some email marketers use is they need to get people engaged and replying. So my first email here, if I do like a view email, I suggest people that they reply. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but I give them, I talk to them, I write some things that I thought made sense for them, and what I urge them to do is to reply to my email and tell me what they're working on and things like that. And the reason I do that is so that they scroll. You see it's long, so that they scroll, so that the email provider thinks that, like, hey, this is a real user. And after they scroll, there's some part of it that urges them to respond and tell me what they're working on and how I can help them. And that responding makes me not flagged as a spam email. And so you just basically, when you're doing your autoresponder, all you have to do is just write whatever you think is the best thing that you want to write, the best thing that to get people engaged, the most helpful. Or sometimes I just sell products directly in here. For example, if I say view email, and I say, okay, here's my book on how to find the perfect business niche and things like that, or take my course on it and whatever. So that way, I sell products directly. It depends entirely how your business strategy is. If you're aggressive about selling, that's fine. If you're more into getting people engaged and educating them, if you're taking the longer term approach, that's also fine. And you don't have to sell. You can just send them free things, get them engaged in your freebies, and your freebies sort of act as additional content marketing pieces, because when people engage in your free offers and then they like it, then at the end of the free offers, there's usually a call to action to get engaged into more serious content with you that is paid. So it's a slower approach. Again, entirely up to you. Some things work for some people, some things work for others. It's a gray area. There's no right or wrong here, because just different people, different businesses, so many details vary that you have to experiment with what works for you. And because this thing gives you statistics, you should definitely check. Like, for example, if this email has a really big drop off, the email 8 has a really big drop off in open rate, then it's maybe a fault of the headline for this email, but it's also maybe a fault of the previous email. If the previous email was not good, people will stop opening. And you can see here that there's a really big gap here that doesn't quite recover. So you can see that here I've maintained a pretty good open rate, 22%, 21, and then boom, a big drop. So here is, you always have to experiment and improve things in your email marketing, so that over time it can convert people to whatever you need them to convert to best.